Wrestling and acting couldn't be any more different in terms of what it takes to entertain. Wrestling is explosion. Acting is implosion. One really screws up the other. Hello and welcome to the first of many wrestling videos, hopefully, and reviews. This is going to be a review of Wrestlemania, the latest Wrestlemania 29, I believe, or 39, I believe it is. It's been a long time since I watched a complete Wrestlemania. That was a little quote by Roddy Piper to start us off with, but I was hoping we'd get some people to join in to talk about Wrestlemania on Zoom, but apparently we're the only ones that showed up. Yeah, me, Lenny Kilmeister are your entertainers today. So you're just gonna have to put up with us, see how this goes. I'm gonna start out talking about the Hall of Fame that they had on I believe the Monday before WrestleMania weekend. They always do the Hall of Fame inductees every year. This year they had some fun ones, and it kind of like clicked with what else I'm watching, so that kind of helped. But one of the first inductees was Andy Kaufman, who was introduced or inducted in by Jerry Lawler. Andy, over the years, huge fan of wrestling, very goofy character, running around in his long johns with his like physical edge shorts over the top of his long johns. That was his wrestling outfit. I believe on the Tonight Show, he did some stunts, and him and Jerry Lawler always had some type of conflict together, and they always worked together wonderfully. So it was nice to see Andy get inducted. It's too bad he isn't here to see it. Tori Wilson and Mick Foley inducted Stacy Keibler. If you know her, I think it would have been kind of fun if and they played legs a lot, but I think they should have had Billy Gibbons walk her down to the ring to be inducted. But yeah, if you know her, she's played the teacher for a while. She played manager style. She worked with the Dudleys and a bunch of other people, and just always fun to watch Stacy. She was always had that good upbeat personality. She was always fun to watch. They did a Tim White tribute, and he was given the Warrior Award, recipient of the Warrior Award. Tim White was a referee for many years. I believe he dates back to the 80s with his refereeing, and a big thing was for him was getting almost every match with the Godfather. Pimpin's Not Easy, the Godfather character, and all the girls would attack him. He loved it. But yeah, he was always a enjoyable referee on the show, an enjoyable person. And then they had inducted the Great Muta, inducted by Ric Flair, which was great because I've been rewatching a ton of World Class Championship Wrestling, WCCW. I basically watched the first season. There's 40 some episodes on Peacock Plus, if you have it, which is a great deal because they have some newer movies on there, lots of other great shows, and then tons of the WWE archives and updated it. Pay-per-views and stuff you can get as long as you're hooked up with the Peacock Plus account. I don't think you can get it with the free account for $5 a month or whatever. That's well worth it. Okay, the cat decided to move, so I gotta do a little shift here. All right. Sorry about that, but gotta make the cat happy. Otherwise, he's just gonna get really irritated. Yeah, talking about the great Muda and WCCW. I've been watching that, and he's of course big on there in the first season. A lot of matches against Kevin Von Erich and many other characters, but Ric Flair and Muda pretty much ran all the early wrestling franchises together, and he was always a favorite character of mine just because of him with his green mist, spraying the green mist all the time. I never understood the concept of him spraying the top and the bottom of his arms. I mean, if anything, that stuff's going to get in other wrestlers' eyes and be very irritating. So it was kind of. I don't remember him doing that all the time, but in the early days of WCCW, he pretty much covered his upper half of both of his arms, front and back, with that green mist, just spraying it out and then have it all hanging out his face. You would think more and more wrestlers would have had issues with getting that stuff rubbed into their face. I don't know what kind of dye he was using back in the day. I'm sure it wasn't that great, but he's still alive, so he's lived through a nice ripe age, and apparently the dyes he was using wasn't anything very damaging, so that's a good thing. I like the mask he was wearing at the Hall of Fame induction. That was pretty interesting mask. And then the big one was Rey Mysterio was inducted by Conan. One of the great giant killers. I love watching Rey Mysterio fight the big guys all the time. I'll never forget the one NWO thing where Kevin Nash, I think it was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, came walking outside, and Kevin Nash picked up Rey Mysterio and threw him like a dart right into the side of a trailer head first. That was just classic. But yeah, Ray was always big on fighting the big guys, a lot like Spike Dudley and stuff, and all the fun little characters that just watching them beat up the big. I mean, Ray always was high flyer, fun to watch, all kinds of great, interesting moves, and of course, his times with Eddie Guerrero and stuff were classics, and Conan and all those guys. I missed watching them all work together. Also, that was also in the earlier days of Chris Jericho, and Dean Malenko. It just, yeah, all wonderful people. But yeah, Ray did a good thing. His little 619, all that stuff. But Jimmy Hart also, well, he was the main inductee, I think, for Andy Kaufman. I think Jerry Lawler just had something to say in the beginning. And then with Tim White, too, you had JBL and Ron Simmons induct him from APA. But John Bradshaw, Layfield, they're always fun characters to watch too. So, all right. Gonna get into a little bit of bummer stuff here. I was hoping I'd have one person on the show that has a lot of recollections of a lot of these things and is big on wrestling. And sadly, he didn't make it, but we did on April 3rd. We lost Butch of the Bushwhackers, Luke and Bush. He was 78 years old. I believe he's the one who licked my head in Milwaukee back in the day. There was a signing that I went to. My dad would take me to, my dad was obsessed with wrestling. So when I was younger, which was awesome because he'd take me to Milwaukee or Green Bay, or every now and then we'd have something in the Oshkosh area. But in Wisconsin, a lot of wrestlers grew up in this area or started in this area or were part of the Midwest entertainment groups. And I remember meeting Bo and Luke. Did meet Bo and Luke Duke quite a few times at the car shows in Milwaukee. Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, at one of the signings. I actually think I met them a couple times at signings. But one time they came in doing their little thing, walking down towards the dining area. When they went past all us kids and stuff, there, one of them, I could have swore it was Butch from the Bushwhackers, licked a few of us kids on the foreheads and our hair and stuff, which I don't think would fly this day and age, but I'm not positive. I can't. I was just a youngin', preteen. It was either him or it's the one that ate the turnbuckles. That's why I was hoping I'd have Nate or someone with me to help me remember names and stuff. But I can't think of it. It'll pop up in my head. But George the Animal Steel. It was one of those two. But I got my head licked. But I was doing some research on the Bushwhackers, and I was pretty surprised because I don't remember. And they did end it by 1975, but they are known from 1966 to 1975 as the Kiwis. I never heard of that. As they wrestled in NWA New Zealand, so that's probably why I never got a chance to see it. But it was owned by the Bashan family, that organization, which is pretty interesting because I didn't know their family owned a thing like Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling and stuff like that, which they also worked for that promotion. Stampede International Tag Team Championship. They wrestled for. They lost the title to Stan Kowalski and Duke Savage. I remember Stan. But yeah, then they went on to the New Zealand sheep herders, or Los Pastores from 1978 to 81. Then they became the new sheep herders 1981 to 1985. There was another sheep herders team that consisted of Jonathan Boyd and Rip Morgan. Then they became the Originals. And then the Originals ran from 86 to 88. And then the Bushwhackers from 88 to 96. So yeah, that's they were a lot of fun, and it was just it didn't matter. They showed up, just their goofiness and running around and all the things they did. They were just enjoyable to watch. Another one I'm going to bring up, just because it's been just over a year, but we lost Scott Hall in March 14th of 2022. I was supposed to see him about a month later. Him and Diamond Dallas Page were going to be in a town 15 minutes from me. I was all excited about it. I was going to get to go watch him in the afternoon and hopefully hang out with Scott and DDP and shoot shit with them. And sadly, it just all happened and we lost him. That just, yeah, that was a bummer. But other wrestlers that kind of like stood out big time for me was I've had hands put on my face just by Andre the Giant, Kevin Von Erich, who was my idol when I was a child with wrestling. I always loved Kevin Von Erich. He was my favorite. And then Baron Von Raschke, the Claw. And the most notable thing about Andre to me wasn't his hand size, it was his shoes. And those things, they were so thick, leather, big wrestling boots, custom made. It had to take 2 cows to make those things. They were just massive. But yeah, that was some bummer losses and then some memories of some things from my past. But I got lucky. I was lucky enough with my dad to go to Milwaukee, and we even got down to the bars during Ken Patera's days when he got arrested and stuff. We got to see Ken Patera at a bar. I got to see the Crusher multiple times at bars down in Milwaukee. Baron Von Raschke, the Claw, I ran into him a few different places. And then, of course, Hulk and Andre, I've gotten to shake their hands a couple times, meet them a few times and stuff. I used to have an autograph book when I was a kid. I got all my sports, all the Brewers, the Bucks, the wrestlers, the people at all the car shows and all that stuff. The tons of different signatures, and I have no idea what happened to that book. But yeah, I had some good ones. Nice little notes that they put with them and stuff, and I'd love to look at those again, just read them over and see what they put down back in the day, so I could remember all that. But yeah, let's look at what happened. Or WrestleMania 39. Let's see, what do we got here? This would have been night 1 results. Don't know if I'm gonna give. I suppose we could talk about who won what, but the first night they did 2 separate nights this year, a Saturday and a Sunday. I don't think they've done that before, but like I said, I've only been catching clips of past WrestleManias, the past probably 15 years or so, since I kind of fell off of wrestling, kind of after NWO, NWA, or NWO, and the Click and all that stuff, Stone Cold and Rock and Sock Connection, all those fun things, Undertaker's main era and all that, and just kind of fell off after that for a while. And I'd try to get caught up on just a little WrestleMania every year, and usually watch the Hall of Fame induction every year, and then catch Ring of Honor or whatever, some oddball wrestling here and there. But wasn't as into it as I used to be. But this is enjoyable to catch this. I didn't expect it to be about 11 hours worth of stuff between the Hall of Fame and the two nights of WrestleMania. But haven't watched in a long time, so I figured what the heck, and then I'd talk about it. So what I'm doing now. But night one, Saturday night, they had 80,497 people. So that's pretty good. That's quite the turnout. You're gonna find out spoilers if you're listening to this, probably. So I might as well mention who wins what. But starting out, we had John Cena versus Austin Theory. They started to show out with the Kevin Hart, which I don't know why I don't know how much it cost them, but all Kevin did was intro at the beginning of the first night, intro at the beginning of the second night. Kind of a goofy one the second night with his little robe layout and stuff. But I don't see the purpose of having him there for that. He didn't come out in the ring. He wasn't part of the event at all. So that was kind of weird that they just had him. I know it was a Hollywood, the year of the Hollywood stars or something like that, but why they even called it that, I don't understand. Was it in Hollywood that they had WrestleMania and that's why they said it, or what? But there wasn't nothing really with any other movie stars or anything like that, other than the Miz and Snoop Dogg. They made an appearance each night and did their little thing. And the first night, the Snoop Dogg puts the Miz in a match where he gets his butt whooped, and that was fun to watch. I always like watching the Miz. I miss his TV show thing that he had going on for a while with his mother-in-law and wife and their kids and all that. And that was a fun show to watch. I was hoping that it was going to come back. Who knows? It may have, and I just missed the next season or something. But I had a couple seasons to start with. But yeah, Theory defeated Cena via pinfall to retain the United States Championship. Yeah, it was an okay match, but nothing too exciting. Then we had Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. The Street Profits defeated Ricochet and Strowman, Alpha Academy, and Viking Raiders via pinfall. That match was a little bit more fun, a little more action going on with that one. But again, I'm not big on those characters, so I don't know a lot of them. So I didn't really get the excitement from the match because I didn't know enough of the characters that well to decide who I really cared. Ended up winning that match. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a joke. It actually wasn't bad. I was surprised Logan Paul did better than I expected. I actually that one match with the Street Profits, Ricochet, Strowman, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders. I believe that's the one that had like the 6-person suplex slam type thing, which I like that. That was cool watching that. But yeah, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul's match was all right. Logan Paul did a decent job. I could see him getting into wrestling more. I haven't seen his other stuff that he did. This is the first time I seen him do anything on WWE, so I was impressed. He pulled his moves out nice and smoothly. There wasn't a bunch of goofiness with it, like lack of practice, lack of style. And it just worked out good. But Rollins defeated Paul via pinfall, which is what you kind of hoped for and expected. And unless something else would have happened in the future that they'd be lining up, and then Paul might have pulled this off, pushed it into more matches down the road, but thankfully they didn't. We had Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control, who consists of Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. This match was enjoyable. It was nice seeing Lita back in action in good form. It was a little quicker than I expected. I was hoping that match would run a little longer and we'd see a little more activity from all the participants. I felt it was pushed too quickly and it just lacked the luster that we were hoping for. But in the end, Lita Lynch and Stratus defeats Damage Control. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Apparently, Daddy and his boy have been feuding for a while, and Dominic's been a little shit and needed to be put in his place. And it's the standard storyline. Is the kid gonna come back and kick the shit out of his dad one day, or are they gonna figure it out and hug each other out or make up, or are they gonna just end up hating each other forever? This was a long drawn out match. Not bad, but not super exciting either, in my opinion. Uh, nice little tribute to Eddie in there. It was all right. It's not the match I would have wanted. I would have rather seen Ray doing something else. Him and the son, that whole attitude and confrontation match just didn't pull me in. But it wasn't a terrible match. But in the end, Rey Mysterio defeats Dominic via pinfall. The father set the kid in his spot, but I'm sure they'll have more stuff down in the future because of it. We had the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I like Charlotte Flair, but I didn't think this match had the action that was expected. I expected it to be a little more impactful, but it was all right. It didn't pull my eye and didn't draw me into wanting to sit there and see what was happening, what was going on and stuff. In the end, Ripley defeated Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. So another belt changes hands. But yeah, I'm not seeing the Flair character progressing from what I've seen in her earlier days. I was more excited to see her wrestle back then. Now it's a little lackluster to me. Oh, and then the Snoop Dogg's, the match he set up was the Paul McAfee versus The Miz. McAfee defeated The Miz via pinfall. It was very goofy, and The Miz should have been easily able to get up and beat the crap out of McAfee. It was not the moves, the action, everything was kind of light-handed, just didn't pop. If the Miz would have been doing more of the moves, it would have been a better match. But it was more like the Miz, take your beating and just lay there and give up the pinfall. And it's just, yeah, McAfee defeated the Miz via pinfall. Not exciting for the first night. Then we had the undisputed tag team championships between the Uzos, Jay Uso and Jimmy Uso versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This is a big ongoing thing between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn joined the Usos and all their clique and beating the crap out of Kevin Owens and just abusing him over a long period. And then their little organization turning on Sami Zayn and all the little mind games leading up to this, which leads to the Usos versus Sami and Owen, Zayn and Owen. But in the end, Zayn and Owens defeated the Usos via pinfall to win the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. This was my favorite match of the night. I thought this was the most fun, most interesting. I could have gone for this match to go longer. I expected there to be some interruptions during the match, which we didn't have, but I like this one. That one was the match of the night, in my opinion. Other than that, the first night, not too bad. Not overly exciting, but we did have some fun watching, getting caught up on things from the past. Trying to think. And then we go to, the first night was 4 hours roughly. And the second night, Sunday night, was 3.5 hours. Sunday night's event had 81,395 people in attendance. So almost 1,000 more people than the first night. Interesting card. Again, like I said, Kevin Hart started out the hosting thing with the whole Hollywood stuff, but it's some weird skit with his robe and all that. It's like he is in a robe and takes it off, all suited up, like he's going somewhere, but he never showed up again the whole night. So it's like they just basically recorded him in his hotel room, and that's it. And it's a pretty good job. You just have to do some background video work, and probably got paid more than some of the wrestlers got for being at the event. Who knows? I could be wrong, but yeah, I was not impressed. I was looking forward to seeing Kevin pop out every now and then and do some more stuff, but sadly, no, did not have that. Starting out, we got Brock Lesnar versus Amos. You start out with the Miz and Snoop Dogg opening up the show, and then Brock Lesnar comes down to challenge this character, this almost character, which I was hoping for more from. I expected him to be more impactful. I mean, he's almost a third the height taller than Brock Lesnar. Big guy. I expected him to have more impact. I'm not a Brock fan. I'd like to be, but Brock was one of those wrestlers that just came in with a huge impact, quick matches, in and out the ring, never really fully fought a good long-term match. I'm sure if someone else is here, they could name off a couple, but I was not impressed with any of his matches over his career. And this one, very unimpressed. And this one was terrible in my opinion. But there again, I lost a lot of respect for him and when he went to the MMA. And that again was the quick, impactful stuff. But when he actually had a match where he got hit and stuff, you'd see the fear in his eyes, and you've seen the whole different Brock Lesnar. And it just, and then going back to wrestling, it's like, I don't like when they change up sports like that unless they are impactful in both of them. But I just, not never huge on that character. But Brock ends up defeating almost via pinfall. But again, like I said, almost didn't do nothing. I didn't get to see him hardly make any impact. And it's like this guy has the size, the height, looks like he might have the physical ability, but I guess not. This is the first time I've ever seen him wrestle, but I would have loved to have seen him be more impactful in that match and show us more. Had the fatal 4-way tag team showcase match, which included Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia and Shotzi, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. This match was terrible. I know, call me a hater. I don't know what it is with crossing wrestling over with mixed martial arts. CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey. Ronda, I never was a huge fan of in mixed martial arts because I thought she was a one-trick pony. And we kind of found that out later on when other female wrestlers that were more widespread and had more of a background, not just doing stand-up, not just doing grappling, focusing on a variety. It's mixed martial arts for a reason. And then you see a lot of characters that Rousey nowadays that are still in mixed martial arts that are impactful and doing wonderful. And Ronda kind of like fell out once she couldn't win anymore with her standard grappling move. And then she came to wrestling. And I don't know. It's the attitude face, the resting bitch face that just ruins it for me with her character. Always got, oh yeah, and then she takes one of the greatest wrestlers' names and adds it to her sign-in name, and it just, that really bummed me out. But I'm sorry, but every time I watch her wrestler wrestle, I just see so many mismade moves. It looks like lack of practice, lack of study, lack of follow through. Just, I don't know. I can't I never see her take a good fall. I never see her take a good, do a good move or anything like that. And then she always wins every time I see something. The winner. Like, why? What did you do? Yeah, Rousey and Baszler defeated Shotzi and Natalia, Morgan and Rodriguez, and Deville and Green via submission. That match was 1/6 the length it should have been. It was way too quick. It should have been drawn out further, and there should have been way more impact in there. But I was not at all impressed with that match. We had the Intercontinental Championship with Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. I was looking forward to this match big time. I'm a huge fan of Sheamus. I believe he spent some time living in Green Bay, Wisconsin area for a while in his early days of WWE. And still always partial to him. And was looking forward to this match. Thought for sure he was going to win it. Don't mind that he didn't. I mean, it was one of the best matches of the night, the better matches of the night. In the end, Gunther defeated Drew McIntyre and Sheamus via pinfall to keep his belt. But yeah, this one was fun to watch. A lot of slapping, a lot of red chest. Sheamus likes to make everybody else red as his hair. But yeah, this one could have gone a little longer, a little more impact, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. We had the Raw Women's Championship match at with Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Again, this was a better female battle than the Ronda match and all them. I thought this one was one of the better female matches. I was hoping for Asuka to win, but Bianca ended up pulling it off and defeating Asuka via pinfall in the end. But it was definitely fun to watch. Bianca's giant ponytail, and I got a little one, nothing like hers. I know it's probably not real. I'm sure it's probably extensions, but that ponytail is just, I love how big it is. But for wrestling, I've seen matches where she's been thrown around by her hair in the past. Kind of surprised we didn't see much of that in here, but yeah, it was always fun watching Bianca with that big old head of hair. I like that. Like seeing her do that. I just got in a brain lock there for a second. But the next thing up was Snoop Dogg versus The Miz versus Shane McMahon. It was great seeing Shane coming out. I always enjoy seeing him come out. He's always been an interesting wrestler over the years. Fun to watch. But I don't know if it was a real injury or not, but The Miz again gets put into a match thanks to Snoop Dogg, and he is whining because of his $1 million outfits or whatever getting damaged. But Shane McMahon came down as the next opponent for Miz, and something happened with the injury with Shane that pulled Shane out of the match, and Snoop Dogg stepped in, and Snoop Dogg ended up beating the Miz. Yes, it was fun to watch, but again, there's no way that little bit of impact and wrestling would have put the Miz down that bad. And it's like Miz just laid there and let the characters slowly do their thing. And it's like, Christ, I could have took a nap and woke up before Snoop dropped an elbow or anything. And it's like that slow little pimp walk that he does. Uh, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun though. Like I said, it was a bonus seeing Shane down there, and then getting to see Snoop actually involved in a match, and then anything with the Miz is fun as far as. Next, we had a Hell in a Cell match. The Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor. I don't know if the Demon is like replacing the Undertaker, which I don't know why. I mean, he kind of looks like he ate Kane, the Undertaker, and Paul Bearer and threw him up all over himself. that's that's how his character became. I don't know. I don't know why Finn Balor is the highlight for the Hell in a Cell now. I miss the Undertaker. I hate how they ended it. The Undertaker's reign. I think he should have just gone out undefeated, period, and left it at that. And why they didn't do that is beyond me. It was stupid how they did it, but that's just my opinion. But it was a good match to an extent. But I don't know why. I mean, we had tables, ladders, chairs, kendo sticks, and there's so much impactful items to put into this match. And I believe that was wasn't there something with, let's see what they say in here. They well, Edge ended up defeating Finn Balor via pinfall, but I thought there was something with an injury that kind of, yeah, I'm pretty sure when the ladder was set up, he was throwing in head first in, well, face first into the ladder and hit one of the edges of the ladder and kind of like bent it a certain way and cut himself. And I think they pretty sure that was a match where they brought someone in to check him out. I'm like, Hell in a Cell, and you're having a bleeder get looked at. I mean, Mick Foley fell through the top of the cage and ended up having a tooth go through his face and stuff, and they didn't stop the match for him. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the match. I've been watching a lot of WCCW, so and they've been having some matches where they had to stop things because of injuries and blood or something like that. I think that was the one where he went into a ladder and ended up injuring him in a way that they were worried about it and had to check it out to see if it was a serious injury or something. I don't think they would have played that out as part of the storyline, because that would have been stupid to have that interruption. But other than that, I enjoyed that match, but it could have been way more impactful with all the weapons that they were bringing into the ring and using. I think there was a little bit lacking. And I'm always surprised and happy to see Edge back in action, because I know what he went through and I know his condition with the doctors, and he couldn't wrestle for a period. And if you ever want to see a really fun talk show podcast type thing, check out the Edge and Christian show. I can't think of the name of it, but I was really bummed when they stopped doing it. It was around the time where he went to work for the Vikings TV series, and Christian was going off to work for some other TV show thing too, or something like that. But yeah. And then to finish the night off, they had the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. This match was not my cup of tea. You see Paulie dangerously just standing still outside the ring, kind of looking lost a lot during it. I expected him to be more impactful during the match. I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns. I never was. I never understood why he got to the position that he got in the franchise. I was the same way with The Rock. I didn't care for The Rock in his early days, but I grew to love the guy. But Roman Reigns he's hard to like a lot. And he just doesn't have that demeanor. He doesn't have the pop with his speech, with his in-ring persona type thing. The character doesn't really interest me at all. And I was really looking forward to Cody Rhodes beating his ass. They did a little dedication to Dustin Rhodes in there, his dad. And you watch Dusty back in the days. Him and Flair fighting, all the bloody messes and all that. They were always fun to watch. But this match, this site that's talking about it says it was undoubtedly one of the best WrestleMania main events in recent years. This person obviously hasn't watched WrestleMania, I don't think. But they kept going back and forth with their blows and all that. And Reigns ended up winning it in the end against Rhodes. The finishing pin maneuver moves over and over, the ones that should have been final moves and caused a pinfall and didn't. And you're going over and over these back and forth. I don't know. I was not impressed. I thought that was one of the worst matches they could have put for the final match of the weekend. I really wish Cody Rhodes would have pulled that off in the long run, but you get what you get. And 11 hours of wrestling, or 7.5 hours for the weekend, and then like 2.5 for the Hall of Fame ceremony. So about 10 hours, but 7.5 of the main wrestling. I don't know. I think they could have cut half the matches and made the other ones more impressive. The main ones that they would have kept. I would have liked to seen more stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about on that. But that was my WrestleMania 39 review. It was enjoyable to catch up, see what was up with all the different characters, uh, see if there was anybody new, which I knew pretty much all the wrestlers that I seen, so it wasn't nothing really new to me, but it just wasn't WrestleMania worthy as far as I'm concerned. I felt that was more of a Monday Night Raw, a week of wrestling, something like that. But no, I've seen way better wrestling matches, live events on for Monday night events, Thursday night events, Saturday events, all those that were way more impressive. I Yeah, but it was enjoyable to see everything and just get caught up on stuff. But I've been doing a deep dive on wrestling again. Like I said, I've class championship wrestling, watching all the seasons of that. Uh, through the first season, and like I said, there's 40 some episodes per season, so there's quite a few hours of wrestling. But it's just enjoyable seeing all the people of old, bringing back memories of those days. And I also watched so far some old ECWs, like from '94 and '95. Watched some WCCW had a Star Wars, I think it was, event pay-per-view type thing. That was interesting. Uh, but I'll be talking about those coming up soon. I'm gonna try and do like once, twice a month, wrestling YouTube that I will be doing, or a certain character will be doing. You'll have to see when it comes out. I'd like to get a person that I was hoping would show up for this. I'd like to get him to maybe do it with me, but if I can get him to do it with me, we'll probably both pick like 3 comics each time we do an episode and review them, and then talk about any wrestling that we've seen that week or those 2 weeks. I was thinking if I can get him to do it, maybe we'll do it once every 2 weeks. If not, I'll do it a couple times a month or once a month. You'll see me pop up on the YouTube channel, or an interesting character popping up on the YouTube channel. Keep an eye out for it. Keep falling under the call of MS. Audio, video, all kinds of stuff out there between wrestling and multiple sclerosis and everything else. Keep following us, subscribe, like, tell a friend, and we'll get back to you with more fun things hopefully soon. So take care. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.